Number 21. So the first possession will go to Penn State.
Brent is the guy that really shows that breakaway ability, good instincts when he sees daylight. He doesn't have to think about it. He just reacts and gets to it.
Underway. Bobbled in the end zone by Hammonds. He'll come out, collides with his own man. There's confusion. BYU jumps all over the return man. Miscommunication coming out of the end zone. Now the story of the quarterback situation, Tony Sacca dislocated the ring finger on his throwing or right hand against USC. It was put back in place by the team doctor last Saturday night. He missed a defensive series and a play and then came back. He did not take many snaps during practice this week. He did, however, before the game, take a dozen or so, and the doctor says he can go, and we'll see how it works out. There is the tape on that right ring finger, and to start the game, just what Dick Vermeil predicted, a handoff, but defensively, Lenny Gomes, number 90, making a big play for the Cougars. Now, the offensive backs and the receivers, Sam Gash, the workman fullback, they are looking for someone to break out of the tailback spot. The two most dangerous players would be the wide receivers. There's the offensive line built around the center, Greg Huntington, at 274 pounds. Derek Pickett, by the way, moves in at tackle this week. And Jerry Collins, number 23, he is former star Andre Collins' younger brother. He's leading Gash. Number 11, Gash, comes out to the 11-yard line. And this defense of the Cougars taking on the run, that was number 50, Shad Hansen. Now, Hansen, along with Rocky Beagle, numbers 50 and 45, are the heart of this defensive front. Very inexperienced. Tony Crutchfield, number 24, leads the secondary for Brigham Young. Irvin Lee, number 9, BYU fans will never forget the night he had against the Hurricanes of Miami a year ago, leading them to the upset and thus setting up a Heisman Trophy win for their quarterback, Detmer. Now Sacca with his first pass of the evening, and he will not be able to get it off as he is strung out. His receivers were covered, and he is forced out of bounds by Scott Giles, number 47. So it is 3 and out here for the Nittany Lions.
Well, the field position was lousy, so that eliminates a lot of your offensive choice. And the offensive staff script the offense, but I don't think they script the plays, meaning they say first play, second play, third play. They don't script them thinking about being on the 10-yard line.
Mika Matsuzaki back to return Helkoski's punt. And Doug Helkoski standing back on his own goal line. Woo. Gets it off. Matsuzaki with good speed if he can find an alley. And out of bounds at the 41-yard line. We're going to take a break, and we'll come back to watch Heisman Trophy winner Ty Detmer with his first offensive series of the night. Be the all-time career total yardage record setting here. So Detmer brings the offense from the sideline for the first down. Peter Tuipulotu, number 32, his key running back. But really, the key to their running game and everything else is putting the ball in the air. They will run on first down, however, and Penn State not fooled. Rich McKenzie, 99, coming from the backside, brings him down. There's Tuipulotu, and Matsuzaki returned the punt. Mealy, Drage, the other wide receivers.
Well, Roger French, the offensive coordinator for BYU, said they're coming here to run. They don't think they can just beat them throwing the football. Evaluating Penn State as a better team today than when they played them in the Holiday Bowl a few years ago, Brent. So look for them to try to run a little bit more.
Well, Jamal Willis, who got the call on that first carry, quickly exits the game, and they go back to their usual fullback, tailback. Everybody out, and Detmer pass is knocked away, incomplete by Reggie Gibbons. And here is that Nittany Lion defense. Through the years, their linebackers have been the key, and there are some good ones here. Number 38, Mark D'Onofrio. Keep an eye on him because he dislocated a shoulder in practice. Derek Bana, Darren Perry, Lee Rubin, and Leonard Humphreys, the defensive backs. The key tonight on D'Onofrio, how the shoulder will hold up.
I question whether he'll be able to sit in there, maybe against these guys because they throw the ball more than they run. He will, but he won't be 100%.
The aerial circus continues. Just getting underway. Down the middle and incomplete. He broke a man open. That was the fullback, Atuaya. Number 46, the freshman from Hawaii, was busting free down the middle.
Well, you'll see here from the high end zone, they wanted to go to the back, out of the backfield from the left side of your screen. Mark Atuaya, here he'll come out to the left side of your screen now. Right down there, see him in the left-hand corner. They wanted to get a running back on a linebacker. They got him there, he had him by the step, not a complete pass. Sandusky, the coordinator from Penn State, wants to vary the rush, vary the cover. He said it actually doesn't make much difference what cover you use. They still throw completed passes.
There was a penalty flag down on that low snap to Kaufman. See if they took too much time.
Too much time. This will actually make it a little bit easier for them to drop the ball inside that 10-yard zone.
Joe Paterno. Been here since 1966. Not even considering retirement. Nor is this man, LaVell Edwards, in his 20th year at BYU. Both men share one thing in common. Each has captured a national championship, in Paterno's case, too. The punt is fielded on the 10-yard line by McDuffie. And he gets to the 12-yard line of Penn State. Well, the top three teams are idle. And remember, Florida State and Michigan. Florida State and Michigan will play each other starting at noon next Saturday here on ABC. So unusual to see the top three teams in the country all idle tonight. Now, one of the big ones also underway in Lincoln, scoreless in the first quarter, Washington and Nebraska. Syracuse, I hope you got to see that one. What a surprise. 38-21, they did a wonderful job, and the state of Florida thus loses for the first time. Sacca couldn't find a receiver. Forced to take it on the run, turns it upfield, and gets to the 29-yard line before Giles brings him down.
I formation, normally a running formation. They go to a drop back pass on first down. No one open. Hey, he shows the more mobility than I thought he had. Brenio, he's a 6'5" guy, 225 pounds. We know he's tough.
So is Mississippi State. They pushed Tennessee to the wall before the Volunteers pulled that one out. Oklahoma big. Clemson will be down there, Dick, next week to watch Clemson against Georgia Tech. That should be a dandy. Handing off to Collins, and Andre's younger brother squirts to the 34, and a first down for the Nittany Lions.
Look for them to concentrate on their running game. In talking with Frank Ganter about the game plan, he said they've had so much success executing big plays early in the season that it was disillusioning to the offensive team. And tonight their goal is to sustain long drives. Everybody, all 11 people, make a contribution on each snap.
So Penn State going to work behind that always well-coached offensive line, trying to wear down this Cougar defense. Again, that was Collins. And this is the kind of an offensive game that will grind down a defensive line. Iowa in a couple of weeks takes on Michigan. Notre Dame big over Michigan State. Now George Perlis and the Spartans are 0-2, and Auburn in the first quarter jumps ahead of Texas. Baylor with a touchdown lead on Missouri. These games underway now. Tulsa upsets Texas A&M, the 15th ranked team in the country. Ohio State rolling this year. So on second down, Sacca handing off to Collins. Another first down for the Nittany Lions, and he gets to midfield. Derwin Gray, number 5.
You know what happened, Brent? The outside linebacker, number 47, Scott Giles, blitzed, and he blitzed too wide. Now you'll see this to the left side of your screen, and watch him. He'll run right underneath the blitz. See, he's got to come down tighter on that if he's going to come down and make a good defensive football play.
So Scott Giles and the rest of this Cougar defense are now looking at a grind them out Penn State team. Collins has carried 4 times already for 18 yards. And Sacca with a good fake, throws complete to the 35-yard line.
There was nothing wrong with his finger on that pass. He rifled that one.
Watch this delivery to McDuffie.
And you can see what the play action does to the quarterback. See, look at there. Everyone's stepping up there. It helps also the pass protection. Defensive lineman reading run all the time in the world. There's that hole in the zone. Nice catch. Excellently, really well thrown ball.
So Sacca's first pass attempt right on target. Then he comes back with Gash, the short man. BYU ready for that. Rocky Beagle, number 45, one of their leading defensive players of a year ago, moves in to make that stop.
He's quite a guy. I mean, when you read and study about his career, both in high school and college, he was all-state wrestler, junior and senior, won 97 matches pinning his opponent. So he's really a good, strong, mobile athlete, and he plays that linebacker position real well.
Terry Smith is out to Sacca's left. This is 2nd and long. McDuffie down to his right, and Collins getting the carry. And the Cougars slow him up after a gain of a yard. That was Randy Brock, number 97, coming through to disrupt that play.
You'll see the penetration on the top of your screen. They ran a slant, an angle charge, Randy Brock 97, and he got in there and created the penetration and broke up the play. Didn't allow it to get developed properly. Normally, that offensive tackle, as he goes off at an angle, Brent, he gets help from his guard, but due to the even defense, it was all one-on-one.
Rick Sales is the tight end, and they will slot Smith to the right. In a passing situation, they'll send Smith out from a slot. Sacca has time, fires to the tight end. Sales out of bounds at the 18-yard line. A Penn State first down.
They really like Sales. He's actually a better receiver than he is a blocker, and he could play wide receiver. Now here he is right in the middle of your screen. He's going to come off. There's Gash, number 11, just flare control out in front, holding the coverage up close to the line of scrimmage, and he slips in behind that zone.
Joe Paterno said he was going to loosen things up this year, but folks, this is the kind of football that Joe Paterno likes. Down and dirty and grind it out.
He wants the run to set up the pass tonight.
And preferably the run to set up the touchdown and forget about the pass.
Well, you know, they go through those first 2 ball games and they win big. You know, they score 81 points. They score 34 on Cincinnati. You start thinking, hey, we're pretty good. We don't have to block people. We just make big plays.
Start offense.
Well, Joe is also concerned, as Guy Gibbs, the official, makes that call and was over there. He's very concerned about this. Having been outscored 27, that's Brigham Young on the other side. They're the ones that have been outscored. Both schools with the blue and white colors tonight. And Brigham Young was starting slow against Florida State and also in their game against UCLA. The difference was against UCLA in the second half, they were back in the ball game. Now Gash battles his way to the 20-yard line after that penalty. This is still going to be 2nd and 12.
See, Gash tried to pick up the linebacker blitz. You'll see Gash right in the middle of your screen here. So you see the linebacker blitz right in there. He got good penetration there, and he tried to get back up inside, and he couldn't do it. Need help on that kind of play when they're bringing those linebackers up inside.
Paterno looking at his play selection card, wondering if Franco Harris, Lydell Mitchell, somebody like that might appear here.
They have the 46 defense are coming after him.
Sacca straight back, gonna lob one, a little long and incomplete.
Good audible. He saw them coming after him with that 46 8-man front defense. One-on-one coverage out at the point. Remember against SC last week, he threw that fade down for the touchdown. Tonight he overthrows it.
A little bit impatient on that play.
Well, I don't know. I think he had to do that because that kind of defense and that kind of coverage dictates you go after those corners.
Well, this is 3rd and long.
The big thing he does now, he doesn't want to take a sack or throw the interception. He's already in field goal range.
Craig Fayek getting ready on that far side in case they miss the first down here and Penn State decides to go for the field goal attempt. We're just underway if you turned on your television set. No score yet. 95,000 folks on hand here at Beaver Stadium. 10,000 seats have been added to this facility.
coming after him again. Playing tight coverage. He's audibling.
Firing to Smith. Incomplete.
You've got to wonder if that finger is not bothering him. He's a foot off on the one before, 6 inches off on that one, and you can see the tape on that finger. That's no way that it can help you. Remember, Bob Greasy said last week during the broadcast that, you know, he could get through the ball game, but during the week, it's going to hurt, and I think it's hurting him a little.
Well, this is Craig Fayek, and as far as Brigham Young is concerned, this is a bit of a novelty. This is the first time that a BYU opponent has attempted a field goal all season. And Fayek, looking at those narrower goalposts, going for a 38-yarder. Puts Penn State ahead here in the first quarter at the 8:02 mark. Penn State 3, Brigham Young nothing.
Who's got the marketing plan?
I do.
Sales forecast.
Right. Bowls ever. The last time that Penn State played BYU, Ty Detmer, thrown for 576 yards, was rallying the Cougars. His receiver was covered, and Gary Brown took the football from him and dashed the distance for the touchdown that wrapped up a 50-39 victory by Penn State. What a game that was.
Oh, that was a dandy. Jerry Sandusky, the defensive coordinator for Penn State, told me the other day, he said, you know, Detmer should have given me the honorary game ball for that one. I made him look like, you know, like the all-world player, which he is.
Eric Mortensen and Jamal Willis are back deep to return this kick. And it is fielded the 16 by Willis. Willis running to the right and is forced out at the 36-yard line, where Detmer and the Cougars will go back to work. Dick, I think we should remember that on one play, Detmer had his fullback all alone for a touchdown.
He got him isolated on the linebacker. He just threw it over the top. To get an isolation like that you have to be in a man-to-man defense. Now, Penn State doesn't play a lot of it, but they change up with it. And, you know, this guy, Detmer, he's got a lot of experience. He can recognize when you're doing that, and he'll go after you.
The Cougars trail it by a field goal. Detmer, number 14, moves up behind center. Remember, this is a young team, and there has been a lot of confusion. For example, they didn't have the right personnel on the field. Atuaya now coming off the sideline. He's the freshman fullback. He should have been out there on the field already. And Tui Pelotu, number 32, he probably is a better fullback than a tailback, but he's been forced to run out of the tailback spot for LaVell Edwards. And there's one that's important for BYU fans, because they will open up the conference against Air Force. And before you count that as an automatic win, remember that suddenly BYU is going to have to learn how to defend the wishbone in 1 week. That will not be easy.
No, especially when you're playing this style of offense, a Florida State style of offense, and no one's running options against you. That's a pain in the neck.
Linebackers are coming this time. Detmer under pressure, and will not get away from Tyoka Jackson. Tyoka Jackson came in behind and forced the ball out. Watch Jackson go to work on Detmer, who's claiming that he was down.
Now, there was real good pressure. See, they're bringing in the linebackers. McKenzie right there. But look at how poised he is, and how calm. Then Jackson comes around and punches the ball out.
That's illegal. He batted the ball, and that's illegal.
Let's see it. Take a look. Look at that. Look how poised he is here. Under pressure, steps up. Coverage is taking the pattern away. There it is. There's the ball on the turf. BYU has it. Tyoka Jackson. He is, I think, their best down lineman as a rusher.
Great rush man. Ball goes back to BYU. Scott Charlton checks into that backfield. It's 3rd and 14 for Detmer. 4-man rush. Steps away from the pressure. Complete to Tui Pelotu coming out of the backfield. And he's out at the 40-yard line. Now there is Ty Detmer at his best. See, under all kinds of pressure, gets it off.
See, what he can do, Brent, is he can find the people, because he has a great feel not only where his receivers are going to be, he knows what the defense is doing. You notice he concentrated to the right, and then he saw it wasn't over there. He came back recognizing what the defense was doing and taking advantage of it.
So his first completion's a big one for 28 yards.
Right down the hole.
Puts the ball at the Penn State 40-yard line. Detmer firing to that sideline and intercepted at the 25. Beautiful interception by Derek Bana.
You'll see they're up here in bump and run coverage, and he'll try to run the fade. The safety's coming over to back him up. He wants to hit him in the seam. He can't get it there. Bona falls off. Now see Bona drop off there. See him drop off. There's no one in his face. He reaches up and takes it away for his first interception on the year. Detmer doesn't do that very often. There's no way he's going to be pleased with this throw.
Eric Hughes had been forced out of bounds and worked his way back into the field of play. So the interception by a young Bana, 70 in his graduating class in a small school. What a fine athlete he has turned out to be. And Collins battles to the 29-yard line before Josh Arnold, number 20, brings him down.
In watching Arnold play against UCLA, you recognize a guy that is a smart football player. Maybe not the fastest guy in the field or anything like that, but a smart guy, always in position to make his plays.
Second down for Sacca. The running backs behind the quarterback are in the familiar pro split. Tight end is to his right. And this is Collins. And at the point of attack, he was jammed up by Lenny Gomes, number 90, and Arnold, number 20, helping out. Well, another reminder, Florida State and Michigan. And again, the start time. Next Saturday is a doubleheader day, but that one starts at high noon Eastern time. Number 1 against number 3. Then your doubleheader game will either be Georgia Tech, Clemson, Colorado, Stanford, or Pittsburgh, Minnesota. That'll be coming your way next Saturday, and our coverage here on ABC will start at noon. This is 3rd and 4 for Sacca and the Nittany Lions. Sacca off the play fake, buys some time. Receivers are covered. He breaks free and runs for it. Tony Sacca for the first down.
He wanted to throw to his crossing tight end, Rick Sales, number 83, and they were in his own coverage, and he read this. Now, you'll see this on the screen. Watch the tight end as he crosses here and tries to settle in the hole, and then the linebacker pick him up and just sort of play a game with him. Now, see him coming in there. He's going to try to find him over here to the right side of your screen. Couldn't get it. They had him covered. They had him covered. Good job of reacting, pulling the ball back down. Good discipline not to throw the ball in that situation.
Smith moves to the slot on the left side. Collins swinging in that direction, gets outside the contain man and makes his way to the 46-yard line.
What happened on that, the big offensive left tackle, Derek Pickett, number 69, the top left-hand side of your screen. He has a man playing outside him, and he's trying to hook him, see, and he can't get him blocked, and he falls off. That pushed the play to the sideline. Now here comes the pursuit, and Derwin Gray, the free safety, can come up and make the play. Tough to block a defensive end or tackle, whatever you want to call him, that far outside you. You got to get up underneath him.
Collins with 8 carries here in the opening quarter for 33 yards. Getting 4 yards a crack. Got 7 that time. This is Collins again. Spins and was perhaps a foot or so short of that first down. We'll see where they spot it. Josh Arnold hit him first. Number 20, the safety, very active and coming up to support on run tackling here so far.
Well, he's done. He came into the ballgame with 23 tackles already, Brent, so that verifies what you're saying. He likes to get up there and put his nose in it, and he normally doesn't make a mistake on play action. Pretty good discipline, well coached. What BYU is doing right now is they're forcing Penn State to run parallel, and they're not letting them get upfield. Good defensive play by the front 7.
This would be a wonderful time for Desmond Howard to run long, and we'll throw deep.
We will never forget that play, will we?
You got that right. 3rd down and a foot. First down.
Good job.
There will be none of that nonsense by Joe Paterno here tonight.
May never happen again in Michigan either. Oh, God. Joe Paterno, you'll see him talking to Fran Gantner, the offensive coordinator. He enters into the play calling as the original script is used up. And then he takes over a series or two and gets in the flow. He says, sometimes I foul it all up, and sometimes I'm pretty smart, he said.
Yeah, well, last week he said I wasn't very smart.
No, I tell you, he comes right out and says, you know, we didn't do a good job. They did some things against us that we weren't prepared, and hey, therefore they earned the right to beat us.
1st and 10 for the Nittany Lions. A ball control attack. Tony Sacca with a dislocated ring finger on his right hand. Has not thrown the ball real well as of yet. Here's the end around. McDuffie now will follow to the 45. And finally out of bounds at the 38-yard line. O.J. McDuffie on the end around. And yes, he was named after the great O.J. Simpson. But it's not Orenthal James, because his grandma didn't like Orenthal. It's Otis James.
Instead of watching the action of the ball, look at the linebackers flow. Now see, they're all the way to the left of your screen, and here comes the ball going to the right. Good execution of the reverse.
He ran it just like O.J. would.
Yeah. I'll tell you, this kid does have a flash when he touches the ball. All of a sudden, there's a spark out there. You can see a guy that can make more than one thing happen.
Well, their wide receivers are more dangerous than the running backs. That's why they put the ball in their hands on the end around. And that was one of the finest runs of the night. And it's 1st and 10 again for Penn State. And now this is Gash, the fullback. And he blasts his way inside the 35-yard line.
You know, the other thing BYU is doing nicely with their linebackers, when they see a run coming, they're attacking the gap that they're responsible for. And once the ball gets there and they've got it all defined, they'll go ahead and cross the line of scrimmage and take it. And that's what Beagle did that time.
Nickel operating on the inside as one of the linebackers for Coach LaVell Edwards.
I first met Coach LaVell Edwards 1961. He was recruiting a football player from my high school in San Mateo County, California.
Not used to having lost 4 football games in a row at that school in Provo, Utah. Collins again to the 31-yard line. Notice that the Penn State running backs are not fumbling the ball here tonight. That has been a problem of the Nittany Lions. But here tonight, they're running and they're protecting the football.
You can see that the game plan Fran Gantner presented to us the other day is we're going to come to run and then throw off the run. And right now, they're probably not throwing enough off the run.
Right, there's no need to even throw unless they stop the run.
That's right. But, you know, I think Ken Schmidt's defense, the coordinator for BYU, is doing a good job. He wanted his defensive linemen to stay low, either on their direct charge into the man or their slant charges, and they're doing that.
Let's see what they come up with here on 3rd and 4.
They're coming after him.
Collins spins away again.
First thing, maybe. They're coming after him.
You know, the one thing, Dick, why won't they look at the blitz, for example, against BYU like they did so often against USC last Saturday night in the Coliseum?
Well, first off, USC's blitz package evolved. Remember, Penn State started out well early in the ball game, and then they gradually worked to their blitz package. And BYU could very well do the same thing.
Very short. It's going to be 4th and short, and Brian Moser checks into that backfield, and they'll put him on a wing as an additional blocker. If they follow Moser, they'd go to the left, and they will on a toss to Collins, and it's going to be close.
More people are going for the 4th down call inside that 30-yard line now because of the change in the goalpost, taking that 4 foot 10 inches out of it. They're not thinking as much field goal. They're thinking 4 downs for the 1st down. And, you know, the funny thing about that change in the rule, the percentage of field goals made are a little bit better than last year. They're just not kicking as many. I think kicking is down like 24%, but percentage made is up 3.5%.
So they'll bring the chains out and measure this.
You know, if they make this, Brent, it would be really good now to come up and hit him with a real good play-action pass on 1st down. You know, you've gotten him thinking run, you're attacking him, come with that short yardage, that real strong run-pass action.
Well, Coach Paterno was talking to Smith, and he sends him back on the field, and LaVell Edwards on the other side can only wonder what Joe's going to come up with. Paterno and Edwards are very good friends. In fact, the 2 wives were together here part of the time this week. after BYU traveled east. 1st and 10. 3 wide receivers and only 1 running back. And the hand is to the running back, and Collins is hammered at that 25. Randy Brock, number 97, got a good lick on him.
You know, they lined up against that slot formation with a linebacker on Smith in the slot. Now, that is a mismatch. I don't know if that's how they're going to do it all the time, but if they do, they're going to get beat badly doing it because they'll pick that up. That's maybe a mistake in alignment.
Are they not passing because of the finger?
I don't know. I mean, we have to think that's part of the reason, but we know they said they're going to get back to a little more fundamental football.
That's 12 consecutive running plays as the final seconds tick away. That'll bring the first quarter to an end.
We should send a note down to Joe and say, Joe, we'd like a little more passing on first down, all right?
3-0. Penn State leading BYU in Central Pennsylvania on a perfect night for football, with the Nittany Lions leading Brigham Young by a field goal and driving again as we start the second quarter. This is their quarterback, Tony Sacca, his final year of eligibility, with a 2nd down at the BYU 26-yard line. Collins getting the call again. It is jammed up. He cuts back. He got all there was out of that before Nickel brought him down. We have 95,000 on hand here tonight, and those overhead views are courtesy of the Goodyear Blimp Spirit of Akron. That's based in Pompano Beach, Florida, and Captain Dick Esch is from Sunrise, Florida. The Gators with their first loss of the season. The other 2 Florida teams, Miami, Florida State still unbeaten. That gives you an idea. Now, those are the on-campus stadiums. If you're looking for the Rose Bowl, remember that's in Pasadena and not on the UCLA campus. 3rd down for the Nittany Lions, and Sacca to throw. First down inside the 10-yard line. He hits Smith. Terry Smith caught 9 passes against USC last Saturday night, and he goes to him in those clutch situations.
You'll see right here on this isolation, one-on-one coverage. Now watch him shake and break to the inside. He has no help to the inside. He just pops it to him. I think he audible to that pattern as soon as he saw them all up bump and run coverage. See, if you're in that bump and run position, you can't allow that man to get underneath you.
Off to a great start this year. Now 1st and goal. Sacca running a little delay, and Brigham Young jumped all over that, led by Shad Henson. So the first quarter numbers look this way. Penn State with a field goal, ending 1 long drive. And what else do we have here?
Well, what's really obvious right here, look at the time of possession, 12:21 to 2:39, and -4 yards rushing for BYU, and they came here to run, and 87. There's the big difference in the ball game thus far, and just how Coach Paterno wants to play it.
I think we're watching the New York Giants in the Super Bowl. 2nd down. Sacca to throw. Coming with that middle screen, and Smith could not get a handle as he worked his way from that wide receiver spot. Interesting place to make that call.
Yeah, well, down there, I wouldn't like to call down there because I'd be worried about man-to-man, and they just follow you man-to-man, Brent. That's a good observation. For a broadcasting guy, it sounds like that,
If I hang around you and watch
monsters,
If I hang around and watch enough tapes with you, kid.
Normally, you use that when you're anticipating zone coverages.
Now it's 3rd and goal. Smith slotted to the left. Sacca with time. Now it breaks down. His receivers were covered, and Sacca's going to take off in a foot race. Going for the end zone and a touchdown, but there's a penalty flag down at the goal line. Jerry Collins may have clipped going in for the touchdown. It appeared as though an illegal block may have been thrown. Let's wait now for Gibbs to sort this out.
Joe doesn't like that one.
That's one of the lead blocks.
I think the holding took place down on the 1-yard line, and you called it.
There's a holding penalty on the offense. Still 3rd down.
It took place at the 2-yard line, so then the penalty is marked off from that, the place the holding penalty was called.
So instead of a touchdown on Sacca's scramble, the ball comes back to the BYU 12-yard line. It'll be 3rd down, and it'll be 3rd and goal from the 12-yard line, too, by the way.
You can see that BYU is not afraid to blitz him. If they're going to blitz, you might as well blitz down here where you don't have much room to cover.
Sacca will throw it. Got one-on-one. Smith for the diving catch and the touchdown. So the penalty doesn't matter a lick as Sacca comes back and hits Smith for the evening's first touchdown.
Again, they're in that 3-receiver to one side. There's isolation, man-to-man coverage. You'll see him right in the middle of your screen. Terry Smith making his 4th touchdown reception of the year. He's running on their best corner, Tony Crutchfield. Now see him give him a little shake there. He moves inside. All the receivers outside him drew the coverage people close to the line of scrimmage, gave him more room to work into the end zone, and he makes the beautiful catch.
Greg Fayek attempting the extra point. Right through. And it's a 10-point Penn State lead as the Nittany Lions drive 75 yards in 17 plays. We'll be right back.
Getting to know you.
And defense has stifled Heisman Trophy winner Ty Detmer so far. The offense has accounted for 10 points, and now they will kick it off to the Cougars. Willis and Mortensen are back deep.
Nice kick.
Mortensen at the 4 to the 29-yard line. Good return. We want to find out about Nebraska and Washington. Let's check in with Roger Twyvell in New York. Roger?
Very much, Brent. Big game in Lincoln, and in the first quarter, the Huskers on the move. You know what a great run defense Washington has, but watch what happens here with Derek Brown around the left side. Good move back inside, 27 yards for the touchdown, and the Huskers jump out to a 7-0 lead. Let's go back to Brent.
All right, Roger, thank you very much. Nebraska jumps out first. Here it is Penn State with a 10-point lead. And what about Ty Detmer? What does he have to do here now to get this team going?
Well, they came here to run. They're not running well. What I think they have to do is a good job of executing stuff like this. Their play action and their controlled passing game. Their controlled stuff, high percentage throws.
That was Scott Charlton coming out of the backfield. And that's the best passing gain of the night. Actually, he has hit a couple of long ones. That one is 28 yards. So he has 2 completions on the night. You know, remember, he's also thrown an interception. So both of his completions have been for 28 yards. And he can come at you in a hurry. They'll need a confidence builder here on this drive. Drage is the motion man. Detmer under pressure. Turns back to his left and will take off for the far side and out of bounds at the 36-yard line.
You know, he is a deceptive scrambler. First off, he doesn't scramble until everything is taken away downfield because he's so aware of where everybody is. But he is more mobile than given credit for. He's back there. See now, good pressure up there. He feels the pressure. He comes back out to the outside. No one coming in his face there. That gives him, he should have a defensive end coming out in his face coming from that backside, Brent.
He got a great block from Tom Ladd over there on that side.
Well, that's where that guy wasn't there. There should be a guy there. Yeah.
He buried the defender over there on that side.
At 6'6", 275, Ladd should be able to do that once in a while.
Tui Pelotu not getting much there. Scott Brumfield, his own man, was pancaking him. Well, we mentioned it was a beautiful night. Temperature in the 50s here. Humidity at 32%. Wind 3 to 6. This is perfect. We take this for any game.
Oh, yeah. I did it. Hand warmers, huh?
They don't use those.
No, I don't.
Get out of here. They're from Provo, Utah. Hey, that's a precautionary measure. He hasn't had his hands in there yet, has he? Surely Ty Detmer has not gone to the hand warmer with a temperature in the 50s. 3rd down now, and Detmer fires fires incomplete, and there's a penalty marker down. Pass interference is the call. Mealy, the tight end, the freshman from Hawaii, was interfered with attempting to make the catch.
What they're going to rule is that Darren Perry, the strong safety, number 9, got there a little bit early. And from my vantage point, it looked like he did. You'll see this slow from behind. We'll get a good shot at it. There's number 9, Perry, going on him. I think he's on him early. He's on him early, and they're going to call that. His shoulder, he's pushing on his back, and they're going to call that.
A first down. The penalty takes the ball to the Penn State 27-yard line. Just when you think you're safe against Detmer, back he'll come.
Well, Perry has a lot of confidence in his coverage ability. You know, he had 7 pass interceptions last year.
JoePa on that draw trap that they feature as a running game, making his way to the 20-yard line. That's the heart of their running attack. He scored against Florida State with that play.
That's the first time I think they've really broken the line of scrimmage with the running play. Peter JoePa. I worked on that all week to get that right. San Mateo, California. I coached against that high school when I was just a youngster. They beat us, too.
Is that right?
Yeah, one time. We beat them the other time.
Here's second down. JoePa with a big hole close to a first down.
Now, when Detmer gets down inside here is where he is really dangerous because he is so accurate. He can throw the completed pass to the covered receiver. He'll put it right where he has to put it to make that a good play. Remember, he was in and won the Maxwell Award trophy last year as well as the Heisman Trophy, and it doesn't get the, the recognition as the Heisman Trophy does, but it's a very prestigious award.
They need for the first down. Detmer, incidentally, is 10 yards shy of breaking Flutie's record. That's one he will set here probably in the
that's the total offense, right?
Yeah, total offense.
Yeah.
He already has the passing record. He passed Jim McMahon to get that one. You mentioned the Maxwell Club. That was a wonderful evening we spent with his parents, and I know that his mother has been battling cancer here lately, and we certainly want to send along our best wishes to the family down in Texas. Wonderful family. There's a young Detmer who's quite a quarterback down there in that state right now, too. Using motion, short yardage, they buck for it to keep this drive going. Ty Detmer keeping the ball. He has maintained such a great perspective on winning the Heisman and still losing 4 games since capturing that trophy. He said, I don't take full credit for all the wins and the Heisman Trophy. That was a team effort, and I'm not going to take full blame for the 4 losses.
And he's right. And he's right. And, he never did act like he thought he had earned all those awards all by himself. And he wasn't a phony about it. He was sincere. He really believed, and it's true, that everybody made a tremendous contribution.
He's finding out what happens when you get up on top. A lot of folks love to see you fall down, but he's had a great college career, and this season's not over yet. And a reminder that at the conclusion of the game, we will select a Chevrolet Most Valuable Player from each team. And for the 21st year, through the Chevrolet Scholarship Program, $1,000 will be donated to the General Scholarship Fund of each school. Before the season started, folks tended to give the Heisman Trophy to David Klingler. Well, after what's happened to Houston here in their last couple of games, that race would be wide open with one Desmond Magic Howard of Michigan, probably the early front runner. But Detmer is not yet out of it. 9:15 to go. He's trailing by 10. There's a penalty marker down on the far side. Pass is completed at the 10-yard line. A major league hit. JoePa was the receiver, and he was hit by Bana, who has intercepted the pass, number 35. So Houston went into Big Ten country this afternoon and got manhandled 51-10. They have been beaten up in Miami and now in Champaign, Illinois. And of course, a reminder that coming up at the half, the Prudential halftime report. Roger Twibel will have all the scores, and of course you'll want to hear from Bo Schembechler. He'll have his insights coming up on the Prudential halftime report here on ABC.
you can look for BYU.
Only 6 men on the line of scrimmage on the offense. Going to repeat the down.
You know, last night in visiting with the BYU coaches, I mentioned to them, you know, you have an offensive right tackle that lines up a long ways off the ball. And someday someone's going to call you on that. And I wouldn't doubt that that was the call tonight. He lines up too far off the ball. He's got to be up there. Look for post corner combinations.
Second down for the corner and the touchdown. Wonderful throw by Detmer to Bryce Doman, number 83 at the corner, and that is the record. With that touchdown pass, Ty Detmer becomes the all-time college career total yardage leader. And what does he do right away? He gets out there to his wide receiver to say that he's all right.
All right, now, I mentioned look for the post corner combination. I saw them running those combination routes against UCLA. They scored on this very same pattern against UCLA. The inside slot ran the corner pattern, and here he is, Doman making a dive, the ball thrown right where it had to be thrown, high into the outside. He comes down, and I think what he did is knock his wind down.
What a great catch that was.
Oh, it was. And the ball put right where it had to be put to be completed.
Kaufman to attempt the extra point. And just like that, BYU right back in the middle of it. So it's the land war of Penn State 10 and the aerial circus of BYU 7. We'll come right back to Happy Valley in a moment.
They're the worst team in college football. The quarterback's too old.
Detmer has accounted for 74 total yards tonight, 73 of them through the air.
Yeah, Mom and Dad.
Passing along best wishes to the folks down in Texas watching this game here tonight. 10-7 Penn State leading BYU. The Nittany Lions are 2-1 on the season, and Brigham Young is 0-2. Kaufman will kick it off. Anderson and Hammonds set to return for Penn State. Hammonds, he fumbles the ball, and Anderson picks it up. Anderson finds an opening, and he bolts out to the 39-yard line. How about that? Let's check in downstairs now with Cheryl Miller. Cheryl?
Brent, I spoke with some of the Penn State football players. They said that Tony Sacca feels very comfortable with his finger, that as far as throwing is concerned, he's very confident. The only anxiety that he has is getting the finger bumped and it possibly slipping out of joint.
Well, Sacca, remember, thank you, Cheryl, had that hand injured last week, and we see down on the Brigham Young sideline, that was Doman who caught that touchdown pass. So we'll get a report from down there soon to find out what happened to him when he fell on the ball. We speculated that he knocked his wind out, but what they were tending to there, that could be a shoulder injury down on the sideline. So Joe Paterno not too pleased with how things have turned here ever so quickly. It's 1st and 15 after that 5-yard penalty marched off against Penn State. 8.5 minutes left in the first half. Sacca running away from the pressure and throwing low and incomplete to Kyle Brady. And Sacca not throwing the ball well, you have to say, overall.
I don't think his percentage complete is what it, you know, he came into the ball game throwing at 53%. He's 4 for 8 throwing at 50%. So it's about, you know, what he normally does, but I think he's more accurate in that kind of pass.
Well, this is 2nd and 15. Will he put it up again? He hasn't shown us back-to-back passes yet.
I know. I would look for them to run a draw or some kind of a trap on this situation. Though a blitz coming, he might audible right now. Looks like they're up to press.
There it was. The late handoff to Gash, the fullback. And on that delay, he runs to the 38-yard line and into the arms of Hansen.
See, he was just trying to get a percentage of the yards back, not trying to get everything back on one down, giving himself 2 downs to get the 15 yards. He got 5 back, 3rd and 10. It's still a long ways to go.
Yeah, back to the original line of scrimmage right
Yeah,
now.
that's right. They're going into this situation having converted 43% of 3rd down calls, and that's pretty good. It's slightly better than average.
2 fine wide receivers. They add a 3rd in this formation. Sacca over the middle and complete to McDuffie for the 1st down. McDuffie and Smith.
You know why that was able to be thrown complete is the offensive line and backs did a good job of picking up the rush. They ran a stunt inside, and they did a good job of picking up the rush. You'll see the lineman stunting up in the middle. See Gash move over and pick up Gomes, number 90. That gave him the time he needed to allow that square in pattern to develop. Good job by Sam Gash.
1st down for Penn State. They've moved inside the Brigham Young 45-yard line. Richie Anderson is the tailback after that 18-yard completion. With the blitz coming, Sacca rolling to the left, finds Smith all alone and out of bounds. He would have scored, except he was losing his balance, and that carried him out of bounds. There was a defensive coverage mistake, and Smith broke free.
You know, Brett, there was no mistake. Frustrated, fell down. The defender covering him. You'll see now to the bottom left of your screen, this play action pass. He's rolling out to get outside the ruck. Now he throws. You'll see the defender on the ground. See him to the right side of your screen. He was in one-on-one coverage. He fell down on that turf.
That was a touchdown.
It was. And that was an impressive throw on the move, moving to your left.
1st and 10. The ball is at the BYU 17. And this is Anderson picking his daylight to the 11-yard line, and Lenny Gomes with the stop. Now let's check in on Doman's injury, and here's Cheryl again.
Brent, I spoke with Dr. Mark Udell, the team physician for BYU, and he said that number 83, Bryce Doman, when he was making that diving catch, landed on his right clavicle and broke it. He's out for the rest of the game.
Wow,
that's too
broke
bad.
his clavicle,
That's
which
too
I'd
bad.
catch in the corner.
That's too bad.
So Bryce Doman.
Bryce
scored
Doman, excuse me, one of the top students on their football team, as well as a fine football player.
On 2nd down, Anderson. And Gomes, number 90, is playing well down on that defensive line for BYU.
You know, I've watched him. I haven't been able to mention his name as many times as I've seen him do good things, but you're right. He has been playing very well in there, and he's been stunning. He's slanting right, slanting left, and running a combination stunt with the other tackle inside. Doing a good job.
Now it's a 3rd down. Can they get Smith free on one of those slants again?
I'll tell you what they like to do down here in these situations. If they come up tight man-to-man, they'll run they like the slant-in patterns. They also like to run reverses down in this area.
Well, they will go to the short side with that slant. Smith is slotted. They're looking in that direction. The blitz. Arnold's got him. The ball's loose. Brigham Young recovers at the 23. Arnold coming on the blitz. Got Sacca from the blind side.
That looked like a la USC last week. Obviously a breakdown in protection assignments. You'll see the man come from the left side of your screen. He's looking. Boom, there he is. See, now that's the strong safety. Here it is again. Now you'll see the pressure come to the right side of your screen. He wants to throw. He can't. Coverage. See, he did not see him. He should see that strong safety coming on a blitz.
Kevin Nickel pouncing on the ball, and it goes over to BYU. 1st and 10 now for Ty Detmer and the Cougars. Now they run that delay to Ipoluto. Bounces out with that, the favorite running play for BYU. So a turnover saves the Cougars.
They like to run delayed running plays. Go back, take it deep. Here's the counter gap play. Kick out by the guard. He finds that hole up inside. No linebacker to fill. The counter action froze the linebacker. Good gain.
So Garrett Tuche with a good block down there for Brigham Young.
Now Garrett Tuche is one of the guys that they said may not play tonight because he had his knee scoped 2 weeks ago. So he's playing a ball game tonight after 2 weeks having gone through arthroscopic surgery.
1st down. And a reminder that ABC will head to Soldier Field Monday night. And the undefeated Chicago Bears will take on the New York Jets. Dick Vermeil is 1 win, 1 loss, and 1 cop-out this year. Who you like, the Jets or the Bears?
Well, I'll tell you, I think the Bears should beat them. I really do, but I'm impressed with the way the Jets are playing. But you know, I'm not Jimmy the Greek.
Oh, really? I never would have guessed. 10-7, Penn State over BYU. It's 1st and 10, Cougars ball. Detmer with 1 touchdown pass and 2 below 2 again into the heart of that Penn State defense.
Good defensive call by Jerry Sandusky. He brought the linebackers, and Mark D'Onofrio, he stunted on through, came on around behind and made the play. It doesn't look like he's letting that shoulder bother him. That surprises me. He must be a tough paisano.
That's the first tackle by Mark, and remember, he injured his shoulder in practice. Speaking of tough ones, there is the master.
There is the master one. We saw the D'Onofrio's parents in the hotel where we were staying, and what the mom say? She said, oh, he'll play. He'll play.
It's number 38 for Penn State.
Coming after him again.
D'Onofrio coming through.
Not showing any signs of a dislocated shoulder, which occurred on Thursday. You'll see him. They came with the same blitz again. You'll hear D'Onofrio right in the middle of the screen. He times it real well. He goes right by the tackle. The back comes over to pick him up. The offensive guard comes over to get him. He's in too deep. Gets the sack.
His second tackle, and he gets him right here with 4 minutes to go. So a defensive lift. Now putting Detmer in 3rd and long. Detmer will move the pocket to the left, firing low and incomplete. BYU forced to punt. Good defensive series by Penn State.
Not only a good one, a very important one. If you give the ball away like you just did offensively, like Penn State did, and then you allow them to move the ball, you're going to get beat. They did a good job of playing defense that series.
Earl Kaufman, Smith, and McDuffie. The 2 deep threats are going to try to get Penn State some field position here late in the first half. Kaufman booms one high. It's a dandy. McDuffie will go to the fair catch at the 31-yard line. 3 minutes, 46 seconds remain here in the first half. A 40-yard punt, and we'll be right back. 95,000 joined together here in Beaver Stadium. 10-7, Penn State leading. And the time of possession doesn't mean quite as much now as it did earlier because BYU checked in with a big play.
The big plays are more important than time in possession.
1st and 10. Penn State forcing the BYU punt. And they will run Jerry Collins, who is back into that tailback spot.
Real nice block by Todd Berger, who is in there playing now at the left tackle position, Brent. He didn't start the ball game because they weren't pleased with his play last week, but he did a nice job on that one.
Well, again, coming up at halftime now on the Prudential Halftime Report, Roger and Bo will have you up to date with everything that's gone on. They'll tell you about Illinois hammering Houston, Champaign, and we're going to hear from Florida State head coach Bobby Bowden. He got the week off, and then next week, Bobby and the Seminoles go up to Ann Arbor to take on Michigan. That should be a great one. Sacca back, fine to the middle and complete to McDuffie. O.J. McDuffie.
See what he did so nicely there in design of the play. They ran the action. They ran the action in the middle. See, they run the fake inside. See, now that holds the linebacker. Then they bring the receiver and throw in front of that fake. Good design. See, now watch it. Here comes the action. Now watch the square in pattern. See, he freezes everybody there. He has good flare control underneath. And there's that hole the action created.
And a 1st and 10 for Penn State near midfield. Gash, the fullback, swinging outside on the right side. Nickel was the first defender to hit him. And a couple other games in progress that we want to keep you up to date. Nebraska struck first, and now Washington was 6. So it's 7-6. And Texas of the Southwest battling back against Auburn of the Southeastern Conference. Our total yards so far here in the first half look like this: 218 to 96. But again, a touchdown pass from Detmer.
That's right, and that turnover.
Collins breaks the first would-be tackler and gets to the BYU 45. Derwin Gray.
You know, BYU has been successful through this whole first half of getting penetration. Their defensive game plan of slanting and getting up inside is working. There's Nichols, number 55. Now, he didn't make the tackle, but he pushed him back away from the line of scrimmage and allowed the pursuit to get there.
Penn State still has all 3 timeouts remaining. A minute 40 to go here in the first half. The Nittany Lions would, if nothing else, like to maneuver into field goal range. And first of all, they're going to go for the touchdown. McDuffie, and he overthrows him. He was very well guarded by Lee.
A very good inside rush. A good rush. He didn't really get to set up to throw that football. Lenny Gomes, number 90, had good pressure right up in his face.
That's a big play. It forces Penn State to punt with a minute and a half remaining in the first half.
You know, 2 weeks ago when BYU played UCLA, the defense really gained confidence, and you can notice this on tape. And they played much better in the second half, and I think BYU's defense has improved through this first half.
So Matsuzaki set to return the Helkowski punt.
Good punt.
Fair catch at the 15-yard line. So we're going to take a break here with a minute 22 remaining. Penn State with a 3-point lead, and BYU will have the ball after that 30-yard punt.
For details and get $1,000 cash back now.
Always seems like a big event when the Goodyear blimp shows up, doesn't it? Goodyear blimp's now in their 4th decade of sports coverage, and they're showing you a scene of some 96,304. That's the total crowd count on hand, the largest crowd to ever watch a game here at Penn State. Right now it is tied. Detmer with a 1st and 10 on the roll, throwing complete to Matsuzaki, who's got room to run, and he takes out to the 46-yard line before Lee Rubin can bring him down. 3 timeouts remaining for Detmer, and a minute 12 to go. They're going to come to the hurry-up now. 33-yard gain. Detmer to Matsuzaki. Clock is stopped while the chains are moved. Detmer, 5-step drop. Receivers were covered. Steps to the right, to the sideline, and incomplete. Out of bounds. That was Eric Drage, number 18.
That's what's so impressive about Detmer on this situation here. He felt where the rush was coming from. Now you watch right from the end zone. Now see, watch the rush come from the right. He's looking from the left there. He knows where it's now his problem. See, he just bounces right outside. He has a great awareness of where all those people are. Really close to being in bounds.
All he needs in college ball, remember, is 1 foot in bounds, and it was close. Detmer is 4 of 9 for the night, 106 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Back to put it up again, and he has got his running back, Tui Pelotu, who is out of bounds and crashed into somebody on that sideline down here on the near side. Somebody went down in a heap over here.
That is no place for sissies over there on the sideline, I'll tell you that.
It was one of the Penn State defenders, Keith Goganis, number 42, who was down underneath that pile.
You'll see the tail end of the play. There's Bona, and there's Goganis going over the top, and he runs into a football coach.
Now it's 3rd and 5, 58 seconds remaining.
They're going after him with pressure.
And they got it. Down he goes at the 45-yard line. Now a penalty marker comes flying. The ball was loose on the ground. Jimmy Dieter, the nose man, broke through. And there is a penalty marker on the field. And some frayed tempers down there in the middle of things.
Dieter is the strongest man on the football team. Believe this or not, he bench presses 480 pounds. They get the, remember now the holding penalty goes from the point of the infraction. See Dieter right in the middle? He's just like a big tractor plowing his way in there. You know, when you're going to stop him, you got to sting him really early and get your hands on him.
Let me tell you what happened. At the end of that play, as Detmer rolled over, he let the ball go so he could call timeout. He wanted to stop the clock right away. When the ball rolled free, one of the defensive players went jumping in after it, thinking it was a loose ball. Detmer knew he was down, and all he's trying to do here in this sequence is get timeout called. He realizes he's down. He wants to stop the clock.
Stop the clock.
44 seconds. Clock starts again. This is 4th and 12, and in this situation, Kaufman will punt. LaVell Edwards doesn't want to turn the ball over here with about 30 seconds remaining.
I think it's a good decision. You're playing well. You have some momentum. You know, you're moving the football. I think it's a good decision to go ahead and punt the football. But you notice he held the punting team on the sideline for a long time.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why would you ever do anything else?
Well, yeah, you know, you're moving the ball. You only have, 29 seconds. I've seen people leave their offense out there and try to go. But
you've seen some unemployed coaches do that. We'll be right back.
I just read something new. If your athlete's foot won't go away, you could have more than...
They fumbled and went back and recovered. Will Penn State try another fancy return here?
I don't think they will. Plus, I don't think they're in good position to try a reverse on a punt, nor did I think they were in a good position to do that a week ago.
Under pressure, they got to Kaufman. They went for the punt block, and the ball will be down inside the 50-yard line. Forget about the fancy reverse. They went for the punt block that time. They've got 18 seconds to go, and they got a piece of that ball coming in on him.
Take a quick look at it. The pressure comes from the right. Here's the low snap. He's fooling around with a little. Here comes the pressure right there. They just tipped that football. Now they have the 18 seconds. They can throw the ball 2 times, get the completion, use their timeouts, and go for the field goal.
That is a quivering goalpost down there.
2-yard net punt
that they are going at. That's a shake and bake down there.
I thought that was my eyes.
You're not getting that old, kid. Come on.
I did. I looked at it and said, what's wrong with that thing?
Is that the wind blowing here in Happy Valley? Reggie Gibbons, we are told from the field, number 58, got a piece of that ball. So he's credited with the block punt. Now, Tony Sacca pulling back. Smith in the sideline, out of bounds. 13 seconds left on that clock. They've got plenty of timeouts. 2 superb receivers.
You get that field goal range. Now, he is 1 for 1 from 50 yards in his career kicking field goals, so keep working there.
That was Chip LaBarca, number 3, who's bringing the play in from the sideline. The ball is at the 35-yard line, so this would be that 50-yarder. They'll try to get a little bit closer.
Get a little closer, get it to the right side of the field, and call timeout as soon as it's caught.
Both his fine receivers are on that right side. He's looking for LaBarca. Going for the touchdown, and LaBarca incomplete. Crowd wants interference, and so did LaBarca. And Lee was right there.
It looked like good coverage from up here. That surprised me that you would be going from that. Maybe he thought it would surprise the defense. Here they are right there. I can see why they were yelling interference, but both people going for the football.
That leaves them with an awfully long field goal attempt right here. They had 3 timeouts in 13 seconds. Now they're down to 7 seconds. They can't run a risk. They've got to go ahead and kick it in this situation. If the pass is completed,
it's a 52-yarder.
Yeah. And now timeout is called by Penn State. They want to ice the defense.
You know, I might have tried to run one more play and call a timeout. I really would with seconds. I think you can do that in 7 seconds. And that long pass, it was a surprise to me. So obviously they're trying to surprise the defense as well.
Who does Joe think he is? Gary Moeller? What's he doing here?
Fayek's career long is 50 yards.
And this will be a 52-yard attempt, folks. This is a Career field goal coming up, and they're not so sure they're sending the offense back on the field.
I would too. Hey, you have enough time. You have the timeout. They must have heard you, Brent.
Absolutely. They've got, all 3 of their timeouts.
The type of play you run now is critical from an offensive standpoint. Everybody, he must also say that everybody's can call the timeout. You can assign the different people to call the timeout. Throw it. Get out of this.
Out of bounds. So now they're much closer, and 4 seconds to go.
Sure. I don't understand why BYU wasn't up crowding those kind of guys like that and still play zone behind it. No sense in allowing him. No sense allowing him just a free part. See at the bottom of your screen. See the room here. See, that's too much room in this situation. All they're asking is for 6 or 7 yards. And Irvin Lee is back off just a little too far.
Dick, that only took 3 seconds. You want to run one more?
No, you kick it now.
With 4 seconds to go, now it's a 44-yard attempt instead of a 52 after that completion. And Fayek's field goal is no good. So Penn State will take a 3-point lead into the locker room. It's 10-7 Penn State, and we'll return with halftime activities after this message and a word from our ABC stations. U10-7 with Dick Vermeil and Cheryl Miller. I'm Brent Musburger. Nice to have you along with us on this Saturday night here on ABC. A beautiful night for football in central Pennsylvania. Penn State built a 10-point lead. Brigham Young then scored on a Ty Detmer touchdown pass. They trail it by 3, and the Cougars will get the ball here to start the second half. Willis with the return out to the 28-yard line, and it will be 1st and 10. There was a fumble. They're rolling, and it goes over to Penn State. They put the ball down, and Ivory Geathers pounced on it, and it will be 1st and 10 for the Nittany Lions. So the first big break of the second half goes against LaVell Edwards and the Cougars. Tony Sacca will come back to work, and remember, it was a Penn State turnover that allowed BYU to march down the field and climb back in the game. Sacca was blitzed from the blind side by Josh Arnold. Now it'll be Sacca playing with a dislocated finger on the ring finger of the passing hand, but it has not affected him all that much. This is Smith in motion behind him, and this is Collins, the running back. Collins smashes inside the 25.
You know, Brandon, in the first quarter, Penn State dominated the game in time and possession, but in the second quarter, it balanced out where they both shared it about 7 minutes. So BYU was gaining confidence and gaining control and playing very good defense. This turnover right here could really hurt them.
96,000 on hand. Largest crowd ever watch a game in Penn State. Collins inside the 15 for a 1st down.
Nothing very sampled, very complicated, just a very simple off-tackle play. Here's what I was talking about in the summary. You can see here, time and possession, even 7:19, 7:41, 1st down, 6-5. Remember back early in the ball game, Penn State was dominating that time and possession.
And 10, ball at the 14, and the toss to Collins, who stays on his feet and makes his way to the 5-yard line. Jerry Collins, who is the younger brother of Andre Collins and one of 19 children, battling to the 5-yard line that time.
Al Golden, the tight end, really did a nice job. Number 89, you'll see him to the left side of your screen late. You see him right there turning that. He's stayed with his block all the way downfield and allowed him to run up inside that cushion. Good job by Al Golden.
2nd down and 1. The toss, the penalty marker comes down. Collins met at the 4-yard line, but it was illegal procedure on the play.
Somebody moved, that's for sure. I think it was on Al Golden, and I was just saying what a great job he did the play before, and he got a little too excited and moved a little too early. But he really did nail the outside linebacker.
5-yard penalty for illegal motion against Penn State. Move the ball back to the 10.
You can see in the bottom of your screen right here. Now, it didn't appear to me that he was the guy that moved.
Drayton checks in as an extra receiver. There are 3 wide receivers for Penn State. Collins swinging outside to the right, getting daylight, and he is wrestled down by Josh Arnold, number 20, the young man who forced that key turnover.
When you run out,
first half.
When you run outside like that from that spread formation, your fullback is the key blocker, and Gash did a nice job at the point of attack on that play.
This is 3rd and 1 for Penn State. Remember, they're down there in that territory where they've got 2 downs to get the first down.
Good point. This is a good throwing down. Good tight play action. Come up and throw that. If you don't make it, go for it on 4th down.
Well, Smith, a premier target, slotted to the left. They'll toss to Collins instead. There's the first touchdown, Penn State. I guess when you're one of 19 children, you know how to find that daylight. And that young man did just that. He started out at Colorado State, transferred to Penn State, and here he is squirting in for that touchdown.
Take another look at the side. Again, it was the big tight end, Al Golden, who got the key block, a lead block by the fullback looking up inside there. And he just sort of mushes. You know, he's a little short guy, and he can get underneath those high tackles.
The extra point. The turnover leads to a Penn State touchdown. It's 17-7. They fumble and give away the second half kickoff, and Penn State moves 27 yards in 5 plays for the touchdown. The extra point makes it 17-7. Fayek kicks it off. BYU will try it again. Mortensen from the 14. Daylight to the 34-yard line.
You'll see the key block by Paul Seaver right here as he pulls out and traps, and the key block by the tight end right here on the outside linebacker. Fullback will lead through. Now see, guard pulls. Now watch him kick out to the left side. See him get that nice kick out block, creates the lane up inside, and he squirts through for the touchdown.
An injured player down at the 25-yard line for Brigham Young on that kickoff return. So while the medical staff tends to him, we'll take a break and come right back. 17-7 Penn State.
Went to JFK High School, then on to Fullerton Junior College. Has turned out many fine junior college players, and he walked on at BYU. Now he finds himself injured here tonight.
Ty Detmer. And BYU trailing it by 10. The fumble on the snap. There is also a penalty flag down. Linesman picking up the flag over there, and we'll let Guy Gibbs sort this one out. And we'd now like to pause 5 seconds to allow our ABC stations to identify themselves.
You're watching WHTM Harrisburg.
Well, we got a very special guest, Frances Collins, the mother of 19 children. Let's go down to Cheryl Miller.
Well, Frances, you have a lot of talented children. Andre's playing with the Redskins, Phil, and Jerry just scored the big touchdown. You must be very pleased.
Yes, we're very proud and very happy that he got a chance to run the ball.
Now, I hear you have Coach Paterno's ear, that anything you say or do, he's pretty much going to listen to.
I don't know about that. I can't comment on that.
Well, one thing I want to know for sure, you have 19 kids. How do you keep every single one of them in line?
Well, it's a lot of hard work, and I've had a lot of practice at it, and everybody knows their boundary line.
Any other talented youngsters in the family coming up?
Well, the last 2 children are girls, and they're not too interested in sports right now.
Frances, thank you very much.
Thank you, Cheryl, very much. Ty Detmer under pressure I must tell you a little story about Francis Collins. Andre was here, and Jerry went out to Colorado State, and he wasn't all that happy out west, and so Francis put in a call to Joe Paterno one afternoon. He said, Coach Paterno, this is Francis Collins, and I want you to find a place for my son, Jerry. And Coach said, well, Francis, I don't have a place right now. Now, Coach Paterno, you just go find a place. So he calls back later, and he said, well, we can get him in, Francis, I think, but I don't have any money or grants left. Here's a long pass by Detmer that is complete to the 45. And Francis said, Coach Paterno, that's a big, rich school. You put 90,000 folks in the stadium up there to watch the football games. Andre does a good job. You find a scholarship for Jerry. So he did. And Jerry Collins has scored a touchdown, and his staff. There is a younger brother also, who one other son who plays football, and the staff said at a meeting the other day, Joe, is he going to come here too? And Joe said, I don't know. Francis hasn't told me. He'll be here. 1st and 10 now for BYU. On the move, they need a drive here to get back in it. Detmer changes up the play at the line of scrimmage. He comes back at you so quickly. Open man is Tuipulotu, out of bounds at the 37-yard line, short of the first down. Man, they can score fast.
I'll tell you, and Detmer is so sharp. He saw the coverage, which all rotated in a pre-snap look to the field, to the wide side of the field, to the strength of the formation. He checks to a little audible that brings the back out on the linebacker quick, gets him the ball, 9-yard gain. Hey, is better than a running play for them.
You know, that was Otis Sterling who made that catch just prior to it over the middle. That's his first reception of the night. So they have brought Sterling into the attack. That was a 27-yard gain. Now it is on 2nd down. And great defense that time by the Nittany Lions. Rich McKenzie, number 99, was in there. Penn State struck first with a Fayek field goal from 38 yards out. That was in the first quarter. Then Terry Smith's 12-yard catch and the extra point made it 10-0. But Bryce Doman fractured his collarbone, making a touchdown catch of 17 yards, and BYU was back in it. Then the second half kickoff was fumbled, and Penn State scores on the Jerry Collins run from 5 yards out, and now it is 3rd and short. And Detmer got an open man, incomplete.
I really think Detmer would rather have 3rd and 5 to 6 than he would 3rd and 1 to 2. Really.
That was Scott Charleston who had broken free. Scott Charlton.
See, Penn State went into a man-to-man coverage situation, and again, they broke free, and he knew where to go for the football. He just overthrew it.
A couple of times tonight.
Yes. He is not given credit for having a real strong arm, but I tell you, it's strong enough.
Christensen injuring his leg down on the BYU bench. They're going to go on 4th down. They bluff the blitz. Receivers are covered. In trouble. Fires one in desperation, and it was almost intercepted on that side by Givens.
That is not a la typical Ty Detmer throw. That ball should have been intercepted. He doesn't normally do that under pressure. He may unload it and throw it out of bounds, but he very seldom does he ever throw it up for grabs. You'll see McKenzie, number 99, getting in his face right there, then coming around the outside, 94, Eric Ravati, and he just throws it up there blindly. He was lucky that was not intercepted. Ooh, that also pass interference right there. The receiver was shoved prior to the ball getting there.
1st and 10. Sacca and the Nittany Lions with the ball coming out on the Penn State 37 on 1st down. Sacca goes deep and he overthrows McDuffie.
You can see they're not interested in really just going for 1st downs. Ty Detmer getting instructions from the quarterback coach and talking to the coordinator, Roger French. of 16, Mr. Sacca. That's about what his percentage is. He's around a 54% thrower. Was in high school at 54%. Here's a counter.
And it's Collins on the short side. Hammered out at the 44. Let's check in with Roger Tribal on what's going on in other games. Raj?
Thank you very much, Brent. In the Southeastern Conference, Georgia at Alabama. And Saren Stacy will score on a 4-yard run untouched. It was set up by his own 20-yard run 2 plays earlier. And now in the fourth quarter, Bama leads Georgia 7-0. Brent?
That may be the fastest college game of the year. A tough defensive struggle down in the Southeastern Conference. 7-0 there. Here it is Penn State 17, BYU 7. McDuffie and Smith are out to Sacca's right. Sacca pressured. Sacked at the 31 and into the arms of Lenny Gomes, number 90, who's played himself a whale of a game defensively.
See, he wanted to throw the ball right on rhythm coming out of the play action fake. They were in tight coverage up on there, coordinated with the blitz coming right there. He couldn't throw it wide away, held on to the football. The blitz got there. There's Rocky Biggle, number 45 on top. Mr. Gomes has been a factor the whole evening.
Suzuki fumbles a fair catch, and Penn State pounces on the ball on the near side. Another turnover by Brigham Young. Brian Gelsheiser, number 16, a sophomore out of Pittsburgh, pouncing on the ball.
Here he is waving the fair catch there. See, goes right through, and he's still moving his feet. Doesn't have his body set. He should get his body under the ball, get his feet set, and accept the football that way, rather than have his feet moving around and everything else like that. Just more things to go wrong. They came into the second half even in turnovers. They're now -2 in turnovers.
The return team has killed Brigham Young here in the second half.
Punt return, kick return. Turn it over, you lose.
The ball is at the BYU 36-yard line. 1st and 10. Collins stuffed at the line of scrimmage by Greg Pitts. And a word from the bench is that Christensen, the young man who was injured for BYU, out with a wrenched knee and will not be back tonight. We have 8 minutes and 10 seconds left of the third quarter. Penn State with 1 touchdown following the fumbled kickoff to start the second half leads BYU by 10 points. BYU on the year is 0-2 and Penn State is 2-1. The Nittany Lions were beaten last Saturday night in the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum by USC, and USC loses today to Arizona State. Sacca firing high and incomplete. Wanted Smith. Lee was the defender.
BYU on the season, all games, rushed for 101 yards. Penn State tonight, 138. And you can see why BYU came in wanting to establish the running game. They just never get it done. You know, it's hard to pass protect, and then all of a sudden come off the ball and knock someone off the line of scrimmage so you can run it.
Sacca changing up at the line. Under pressure. On the move, throwing short and incomplete.
Holding.
Smith claiming that he was interfered with.
He was.
I don't think it mattered, Dick. I don't think he could have ever caught that ball. Sacca was under such great pressure back here that he couldn't get it close to him.
He wanted to come back for the ball, and Crutchfield grabbed him. You'll see this maybe onto the right side of your screen. We might be able to find a shot of that. He actually grabbed him and had a big chunk of his jersey down to the right side of your screen. Now watch him. He's trying to come back for the ball, and he was holding on to him. Now look at Smith. He's telling him right now, hey, I wanted to go. I wanted to come back.
Punting.
You know, he's had 9 blocks in his career.
This one will take a beautiful bounce. Down at the 4-yard line. He'll Gronkowski with a 32-yard beauty. And it'll be lousy field position for Detmer.
We invest.
Defensive secondary doing a bang-up job here in the second half so far for Penn State. Leonard Humphreys, number 6, Darren Perry, number 9, Lee Rubin, 39, and Derek Bonner, number 35. Bonner had an interception back in the first half, and Brigham Young runs on first down. Tui Pelotu, the ball carrier, right into the heart of that defensive front. And the Nittany Lions not giving up a thing here against Detmer.
See, they can just never get a good first down gain running the football. If you can come up with 2nd and 5, well, you're really ahead of the down and distance situation. Here you are, 2nd and 9. Now Penn State goes into their full rush, downline stunts. Hey, let's come after them. Maybe include the linebacker.
Detmer trying to get into a rhythm. Back into the end zone under enormous pressure, throwing incomplete.
That time they bought the weak side corner blitz. Derek Bonner, number 35, coming from the backside. You'll see from the high end zone, you'll see the pressure now coming from the right. You'll see a cornerback coming from the right, chasing him from behind. He can't set up. If he does, he's going to get sacked. He does the smart thing, just throws it incomplete. They're getting a good varied rush from different people. Inside rush, outside rush, corner rush, linebacker rush. Never the same thing twice in a row.
3rd and 9. Detmer
Jackson got it.
The goal line is sacked. The ball is down and loose. That'll be ruled an incomplete pass.
Jackson came hard around outside their offensive. Brumfield, here's the offensive tackle. Now he'll come out and get hard the outside. He does not get him stretched to the outside like he should, offensive technique-wise. See, he's laid off the ball. That's the big thing. Brumfield was late in getting off on the snap. No way can he pass protect when you're laid off the ball. See that? Tayoka Jackson was upfield behind him.
I'm not sure that arm was coming forward on the hit. Regardless, Penn State forces up Kaufman, and he booms one out of there. They had one partially blocked earlier in the game. This is McDuffie inside the 40 and down at the 32-yard line. O.J. McDuffie with that return, and David Kennard with a good hit for BYU.
You know, Brent, very few colleges use 2 safeties back there to return punts, and the advantage of having 2 safeties back there is the other guy can communicate, yelling at him to fair catch or take it and go, and then come up and become the lead blocker, as happened on that play. If you're back there by yourself, you have to make all the decisions by yourself. Good field position.
This is a big and important defensive series for Brigham Young.
Look for him to gamble and come after him.
The toss is to Anderson, who is in at tailback, and he's to the 26-yard line on first down. And a reminder that tomorrow night, Premier Week continues on ABC with the all-new season premieres of Life Goes On, America's Funniest Home Video, and America's Funniest People, plus a world premiere movie event, The Untold Story of Marilyn Monroe's First Husband, Marilyn and Me, all tomorrow night on ABC. Now, is that one of America's Funniest People or Marilyn's First Husband? Here is the toss to Anderson, and Anderson is stuffed at the point of attack. That's a movie I know you won't miss.
Wait a minute, I'm just regrouping here after that.
Shad Hansen comes through with the hit.
I tell you, he did a nice job.
I want to make sure you weren't falling asleep on it.
I got to get my mind back on football after that comment. Sam Gash went through leading as a true fullback should lead block. He just nailed the linebacker.
Now it's 3rd down, a yard to go. Tight formation and movement by Penn State. This will bring it back 5 yards, and instead of 3rd and 1, this is going to be 3rd and 6, and Paterno's not going to be happy about this.
See, now that was on Kyle Brady, the young, what they say potentially the finest tight end they've ever had here, and he hasn't really been playing very much, so he's not
ball foul. False start on the offense.
He's not in rhythm in the game. Then he gets out there and boom, he jumps offside. See, now right away they can think 2 downs for the first down. It's 4 down territory. They don't want to kick a field goal.
So the wide receivers come back into the formation. Troy Drayton will slot out to the left. Smith is outside of him. Smith is matched against Lee.
They haven't handled the blitz from this formation very good. Yeah, he didn't like what he saw, and he called out. They haven't done a good job of protecting from that formation, and he didn't like what he saw. Good decision by the quarterback. Call timeout.
Well, USC buried Sacca last week with the blitz. That was the key to that Trojan victory. Let's take a look at what happened last Saturday night in the Coliseum to give you an idea. Sacca was 18 of 40 for 236 yards, but they sacked him overall 5 times. Here was a beautiful touchdown pass to Smith, who has developed into one of the better receivers in the country, and Sacca seemed to have things going. But then that Trojan defense turned it loose. Barber was extremely effective as a rush man, the defensive front for the Trojans. And that's how it went last week. So BYU looked at these pictures and came up with a similar blitz here just a moment ago.
I really think that happens. People learn from what you did the week before against a specific opponent, and you grow. Of course, offensively, you grow in handling these problems. Remember, Penn State has not been running a wide-open offense for a long time. There have been more the run, and they've opened it up, and they'll gradually be confronted with problems they haven't been confronted with before because of that wide-open attack.
3rd down and 6. Inside receiver is Drayton to the left. And they run Gash on the delay against that blitz, and Gash makes his way to the 10-yard line. A great call. The blitzer was coming on the other side, and Gash took it to the left, and the alley was open.
You'll see right in here, they vacate on their stunt, and he runs the draw right up inside. See, the center does a nice job of picking them up. There's the hole in there big enough to drive a truck through. Give Greg Huntington credit for doing a good job of picking up Greg Pitts, number 99, as he slanted into the hole.
So Penn State learned from a few of their mistakes last week, too. When Beagle stepped over to the left, they just brought it to the other side. And now it's 1st down after that 18-yard run by Gash. He's carried 7 times for 41 yards here tonight. Anderson to the 3.
They're coming back with the old power old play, doubling down, kicking out, pulling the backside guard through, and they're just sort of wearing them down over there. You'll see what I'm talking about right here. They're going to double down over here and pull this backside guard and kick out. Here they go. Now watch him. See, there's that backside guard, kick out. There's the guard through, and he runs up in there.
2nd down and 3. For the touchdown.
They liked it. Same play. Why complicate it? Just run it again, and that's what they did.
I want you to take a look at the fullback, Sam Gash, who, when he isn't carrying the ball, has also been utilized as a very effective blocker.
Number 11. President of the student body in high school. He goes down, and he knocks down half the student body on that block.
Devastating lead block.
Number 11. Watch him lead through. Boom. Actually, he got help then from his guard. Did a good job.
Now Fayek. A good hold that time. Bill Spohr turned the ball, got it down. Extra point is good. And now Penn State with some daylight. 24-7. And the game seemed to turn around when Brigham Young fumbled the 2nd half kickoff.
And then they fumbled the punt. And you just fumble the football and turn it over. No matter if you're even, you're going to lose. The only way you win ball games that way is if you're just superior. That's all there is to it. And people do it from time to time. Not when a BYU plays at Penn State. They're too evenly matched. You know, the another thing that's critical is where you turn it over. When you fumble a kickoff, you're fumbling it deep in your own territory, and the same situation occurred when they fumbled a punt, was deep in their own territory. So you're allowing them to play on a very short field.
Well, somebody else who deserves credit is Hilkowski, who buried Brigham Young down inside the 5-yard line with that one punt. And BYU could not get out. And then McDuffie's good return on that punt gave them very favorable field position, and Sacca led them down. And it's 24-7, Penn State with the lead. This kickoff will be returned from the goal line by Mortensen. And Mortensen spun around and down at the 24-yard line. And Ty Detmer will try to rally BYU. A very excellent defensive performance, especially on the part of the front 7 by Penn State right now. They are not giving Detmer much time.
Well, you know, Jerry Sandusky told us both he wanted to disrupt Ty Detmer's rhythm, and he has really done that. And he's used a wide variety, a number of different types of rushes.
Pressure on that offensive line. Detmer into the pocket, over the middle and incomplete. That one was close. Well, the offensive line, how are they doing? Let's go down and find out. Cheryl Miller's got a special guest. Cheryl?
Thanks, Brent. With me is Mo Elamanibi, who won in 1988 the Outland Trophy, who's currently playing with the Washington Redskins. He's on the disabled list. What do the Cougars need to do to get back into this game?
Well, I think we're getting away from our game plan. You know, we are down a little bit, and they're trying to go for the big bomb too fast. So I think we should go for the short stuff. You know, our receivers aren't as fast as their DBs, so I think we, you know, need to mix up with the draw trap and go for those short out patterns and stuff. That's what they're not doing. They're going for the big bomb. They're getting a little flustered. They need to calm down and get back into the game plan.
Has the line provided enough passing time for Ty?
Definitely. You know, I think they're holding the ball a little too long, trying to get the long passes. So, you know, he's trying to get that long stuff, so he's not getting it enough.
Okay, thanks a lot, Mo. Let's go back up to you, Brent.
Penalty flag came down on that would-be interception, and it could have been interference against Keith Goganis that time. Ty Detmer had missed his last 5 passes. He's 7 of 17 for 147 yards. Let's take a look at the tail end of that play right now.
To the right center of your screen, you'll see that the defender coming from the outside in. It was definitely pass interference. Definitely pass interference. And
that was Leonard Humphreys who committed the interference.
That's right.
Goganis actually grabbed the ball that time, and Humphreys interfered with him.
Joe doesn't like that call. It's the last time I'm going to let you in town, he said. Get out of here. No pasta, no nothing for you when you come to town.
So after the interference, 1st and 10 for BYU. Detmer, no time. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is in that situation. Tyoka Jackson, number 97, he's been a spectacular rush man here tonight.
Well, he got the sack coming from the left side the last time he was in there. This time he's coming around from the right side of the defense and gets the sack. You'll see what I'm talking about on this picture. At the top of your screen, the good inside push. See, good inside push. Now watch on the very top of your screen. You'll see him keep coming, keep coming. He works on around, and there he is, sacking him. Again, though, he couldn't throw the ball in rhythm. The coverage had taken it away downfield.
Bump and run from the corners. They press. Oh, Detmer gets it off to Drage and complete. On the hit, Detmer got hit by D'Onofrio and somehow got the pass off. Take a look at how this one unfolds.
Oh, this one hurts. The running back is supposed to pick him up. He misses him. He gives him a shoulder shot, and Detmer takes a shot by 2 people, 55 Lubin Fati and D'Onofrio, number 38.
So those two, Benfati and D'Onofrio, I think we can truthfully say, folks, that they whacked him.
Oh, no question. Now, the aftermath of that is, do you throw well after being hit like that? Does it take a little off your accuracy?
They were not good fellows as far as Ty Detmer was concerned. Rolling to the left, under pressure, slips.
He's down. He's down. He put the ball down. He's down.
So Ty Detmer under extreme pressure. Again, it was Jackson and Benfati.
Yeah, he's down.
loves this defensive effort by the Nittany Lions here in the second half.
Getting great pressure. The defensive line coach, Jim Williams, must be very pleased with the way those down linemen are rushing the passer.
Hoffman punting. This is Smith.
Good coverage.
And down at the 47-yard line. Well, the world's largest blimp is up above us tonight. 247,000 cubic foot Spirit of Akron. And our thanks to the crew for those spectacular shots here at Beaver Stadium. 96,000 on hand tonight. A beautiful night to be up there in the blimp. We were talking to some folks who took a nice ride in the blimp here yesterday, including the wife of the president of the university, JoePa Thomas. That's quite a treat to go up in that. First down and 10 for Penn State. They lead BYU 24-7. Final minute 16 of the third quarter. And this is Anderson cutting back to midfield.
See, they're going to, I think, stick with those off-tackle plays. Now, the nice thing about the off-tackle play running toward your tight end is you can head up field rather than going toward the sideline all the time. You can get up in behind that double-team block and see, get the positive gain.
Well, there's the young man who suffered the leg injury, Christensen. BYU unable to generate any kind of a running game. Sacca deep over the middle and intercepted by Gray. And Gray on that far side brings it out to the 44-yard line.
Getting greedy. Getting greedy. That safety, the free safety sitting back in there, not involved, reading the quarterback's eyes all the time. Just watch the free safety on this. Here he is right here. Just follow his play on this. Now, action is play action in the backfield. See him just drift. Now he's watching the quarterback. Watching the quarterback. Now watch him break on the ball. He breaks on the ball, and look at this. Good safety play by Derwin Gray.
Derwin has also come up to make 15 tackles in this game tonight, and that's too many stops for a defensive back in a game like this. Detmer, receiver covered, wrapped up. He put it down, but they're going to rule that he was down back there on the 34-yard line, or an incomplete pass.
Or intentionally grounding the ball, one or the other. Jim Dieter was the pressure man again. He's been a factor the whole night inside there. Strong, powerful rusher. And you know, this big guy runs a 4.740. Played in the Big 33 game for Pennsylvania against the Maryland All-Stars.
He has the waist of a nose man.
And the hips of a hippo.
On second down, Detmer firing for Valdez. Incomplete. Humphreys covering him near the 30-yard line.
You know, Brent, sometimes as a quarterback, you've been hit so many times in setting up and trying to throw deep that you really never get your body back into the long throw because you stay back there almost anticipating contact.
How about Mark D'Onofrio tonight against Ty Detmer, playing with a shoulder that was dislocated earlier in the week. He had his arm in a sling yesterday. Most folks did not expect him to play at all here tonight. He does not lift that left shoulder very high. You can see on most of his tackles, he'll try to hit you with the right shoulder, and he's gone the distance. Detmer under pressure again. And they are just with a savage pass rush. That one led by Ivory Geathers, and this will be another standing O for the defense. Let's listen. Hoffman punting for Brigham Young. Joe Paterno's kind of football.
You know, you keep talking about Penn State linebackers, and they've turned out a lot of them, but there's always a reason. That coach, Joe Sara, that we watched coaching those linebackers the other day, really does a great job with them.
So there's McDuffie with the fair catch at the 27-yard line. We've got 5 ticks of that clock left here in the third quarter. You can expect Penn State to go to that ball control game now, leading 24-7.
See, and there's the difference. Penn State gets the turnover, they take it on in and score. BYU gets the turnover, they end up punting the football. I think BYU is going to mature as the season goes on. They're young in experience, not young in age, because most of these kids have gone on their mission and they've come back to school after 2 years. But some of them are rusty, from what Coach Edwards was telling me. And it takes them a while to really get back into football form.
Yeah, Penn State turned it over here twice tonight. BYU has punted both times. Last play of the third quarter. It's a run by Collins, who has scored one of the Nittany Lions touchdowns. And we'll return with more between BYU and Penn State after this message and a word from our ABC station. Last year it produced more than 175,000 gallons of ice cream and sherbet. And tomorrow you can drop by and get yourself a peachy paterno. That looks good right now, doesn't it?
It's probably got a little pasta in it.
There he is, the legend, Central Pennsylvania. Wants to go 5 more years. Wants to coach in a Rose Bowl. I don't know why anybody wants to take a Big Ten team out January 1st to the Rose Bowl, but Joe says he'd like to get out there. And here's Gash running to the left. It's Rocky Beagle. Beagle was in pursuit. Number 45 put a saddle on him and brought him down. So Wisconsin with an upset, 7-6. Watch out for Barry Alvarez. Northwestern was on the move late and couldn't pull it out. So much for the run and shoot, or at least this year's version from Houston. 13-10. Indiana holds on. North Carolina over Army.
As soon as you start making statements that my offense is unstoppable, watch out.
You know, a team that's been unstoppable so far has been North Carolina State. Very quietly, I think they put together about a 3-0 mark. Quick spin by Sacca. Wires out to McDuffie in a foot race. Arnold's got the angle. McDuffie takes him on, and help comes over from Gray. He's down at the 21-yard line. Matt Gallagher got out with a clearing block.
You'll see the quarterback will reverse pivot and fake there and then wheel around and watch him reel back and throw the quick pass to split in with the guard coming out there to get the trap block. Very well executed wide receiver quick screen, and that's Mr. Gallagher who got that block. You know, he walked up to me in the practice field the other day and introduced himself. He said he was an Eagle fan when I was coaching the Eagles, and his dad was a Redskins fan, so they used to have a lot of arguments.
I'd say. Coffins. Let's take a look at the numbers from the third quarter, and these will be all Penn State.
Second down.
Turnovers, yeah, okay. BYU one more than Penn State, but look at the total offense. 310 to 152. Rushing yards, -6 to 180. Total plays, 40 to 66. Time of possession, 17 to... Hey, it's all Penn State.
Now 13:29 to go. In that third quarter, BYU's total offense was 24 yards against the Penn State defense. Sacca to the goal line and knocked away from Smith.
Boy, that was a nice free safety play by Derwin Gray. That's the second excellent play I've seen that young man make. You can see why he led the WAC conference in pass interceptions last year. Watch this move. He just flashes across, reaches out there, goes for the ball. Nice play, Derwin Gray. Here's what he's done tonight. 15 tackles. I wish there was a way you could earn a game ball and a loss, but most people don't give game balls to players and to units when they do get there. They do get beat. He might be a candidate for our Chevy player, huh?
I think he just wrapped it up. That little endorsement. In the round, it's Smith. Smith to the left side with an alley, and down at the 15-yard line, Kevin Nickel bringing him down to the turf.
They want to do everything they can to get the ball in the hand of Terry Smith. You can see why he's very quick, not real fast, blinding speed, but very quick.
With a victory tonight, Penn State starts to move back up in the charts. They were as high as number 5, I believe, until they were beaten. And here they will set up to kick a field goal, and they want to take a look at Fayek, who has been struggling a little bit on 4th down. You've got a long couple of yards. They want to get his confidence restored. He hits the field goal, and that makes it 27-7. 12.5 minutes to go. And Penn State on the way to its third victory of the season. It is another frustrating evening, and one that has disappointed not only the players but certainly the coaching staff. They trail at 27-7, 12.5 minutes to go. They're going to get the ball back here. Willis with the return. And let's listen as Roger French talked to the offensive team.
Who do you think of more hits than you are? I'm tired of it. You can't play, don't go in there. You don't want to play, don't go in there. It's too much for you. Stay here, and we'll play somebody else. You keep your hits out of your head.
And that's what coaches get paid to do. Get on them. Get on them. A man profits by a mistake directly proportional to how much you make him suffer when he makes it. Remember that.
Got it, Coach. Detmer running away from pressure. Oh, Jackson's been all over the field, and he dumps one incomplete.
See, what Penn State has been able to do is to rush more than the normal 4 and cover man-to-man, and the speed of the secondary and linebackers, they have been able to cover one-on-one.
Auburn holding off Texas in the fourth quarter of that game.
This offensive line is not a real experienced offensive line, and it will grow as the season goes. They get into that WAC conference, they'll be solid, they'll be fine, and they'll win most of or all their ball games. There's that draw trap.
There it is. Peter Tuipulotu out to the 35-yard line.
You know, as he was talking to those linemen, really, and they're not used to getting pounded around and beaten around like that, you know, Brent, and he gets on them a little bit, and that makes them mad, and they go out there and they'll concentrate a little bit more on technique. They'll do it with a little more intent, and they'll play a little better football. It's not a game for sissies.
11:45 to go. It's 27-7, Penn State over BYU. Detmer got the protection. Open man, incomplete. Oh, Scott Charlton should have had that one. He was hit hard by Darren Perry, number 9.
Boy, I know, Brent, you say he should have caught that, but I'll tell you, it would have been a heck of a play, because Darren Perry really let him have it. You'll see now Darren Perry is back in a 2-deep zone, playing like a free safety. Now watch him flash from the left side. Just as he gets it, he goes in for the ball and just punches it out. Nice job by Perry.
Is that one of those pansies you were talking about?
Yeah, there are no pansies down on either side of the line of scrimmage down there.
There's Kaufman. They set the return.
That's a return ball, too. It's kicked too low.
McDuffie down at the 39-yard line. So we'll take a break. 11:25. Penn State dominating. It's been a wonderful defensive performance here in the second half. 27-7.
As we approach the 1992 Olympic Games.
Here tonight, working with us, Mr. Vermeil. Phil Tabusi was our lighting man tonight. 26 years at ABC, and Fred Casper, 31 years. He's working down in transmission. And that's Dick Ash, our captain up there in the Goodyear blimp, wishing them both nothing but the best, and all of us here certainly echo those sentiments tonight. Penn State with the ball, 11:20 to go, and leading 27-7 over BYU. And, you know, Dick, you make it sound easy, like they go back into the WAC. You know, they got to go up against that wishbone of the Air Force Academy next week. That's going to be a tough coaching assignment.
It'll be a problem for them, because most people that run the wishbone have a lot of speed. And I don't see a lot of speed in the down linemen of BYU. I see speed in linebacker and secondary play, but those linemen have to get involved in that defense, too. They're strong at the point, though.
You know, one thing, switching back to Penn State for a moment, and this is a handoff to Anderson.
Nice running.
We can't say enough about Tony Sacca's courage. I mean, here's a young man with a dislocated finger on that throwing hand, and if you saw him last week on a fumble after he threw a completed pass, he ran 40 yards downfield to recover the fumble. Now, He doesn't have a flashy completion percentage. They try to throw the ball downfield. But one thing Mr. Sacca does not lack under Joe Paterno is guts. He's had a full measure of that.
You know, I've never seen a quarterback make that kind of a play. I've seen quarterbacks throw interceptions and go make good tackles, but I've never seen him go 40 yards downfield and recover the fumble.
A lot has been made about the fact that Sacca and Paterno have not always gotten along as they pound for the first down. And it is true that they have had their strained moments. But if you want to know how serious it is, consider that Tony Sacca's younger brother is now a freshman quarterback on this Penn State team. And I would say to you that if he'd been complaining too much about the head coach, the brother would not have shown up here at Penn State.
Remember, the parents know their son.
And there is young Sacca. What's his reputation as a quarterback?
I tell you, Joe says good things about him. They think he's going to be a real good one, and he'll be a starting quarterback here and a winning quarterback.
John Sacca, youngster on the sideline. We were all prepared to introduce you to a new quarterback tonight, to be perfectly honest. Anderson getting to the outside. We thought that Kerry Collins, number 12, would probably be the starting quarterback because Sacca did not take a single snap yesterday. In fact, for most, and there is Kerry. He's a baseball player who has turned down a major league or at least a minor league contract to come here and take a shot at quarterback. He well could be the starting quarterback at Penn State next year.
He has 3 more years of eligibility.
There is Nickel, who's down for BYU. Nevada with a big win, 72 points against North Texas. So a reminder that Monday night from Soldier Field, ABC will bring you the New York Jets and the Chicago Bears. You're well aware of the Bears story. They're very tough this time of year. And the Jets, in their lone Monday night appearance, go into Chicago to take on the Bears. So 96,000 on hand. And meanwhile, Alabama shuts out Georgia. They pitch a shutout at them down in the Southeastern Conference. You look at the new seats here, which are on the right side of your picture, which you've been looking at here tonight from out of the Goodyear blimp. 10,000 extra seats are added, and there they are at that our left here. And eventually they will also build a new basketball arena, 16,500 seater. They will extend the runway here, and I'm sure that if Bobby Knight's listening to us back down in Indiana, he's happy to hear that he won't have to drive up here from Harrisburg when he brings the Hoosier basketball team in. But they'll move to the Big Ten, and the one thing that will happen with this school, the basketball program will get even better than it was last year when Coach Parkhill took them on into the NCAAs. They've got a good head start going. This is going to be quite an athletic program when they get that new building built. Everybody's well aware of their football success. Tony Sacca and the offense wrapping it up against Brigham Young. Out of bounds.
He did a good job of just getting rid of that. Good discipline by the defense that time to not going with the flow and maintaining position. Good leverage on the ball. When he comes out with the ball, he's in position.
Well, they're still going to call it the Big Ten, even though Penn State moves in. They're going to change the logo, and there will be an 11 built in. But they love the name the Big Ten, and of course, that will make Penn State in a couple of years eligible for the Rose Bowl. I think Notre Dame should be eligible this year. Their first 4 games are against Big Ten teams.
Well, we know one they're not going to beat.
Yeah, for sure. That was a great game, but they pounded back today against Penn State. Prior to getting the first down, there was movement, and that'll
just third down and inches. You don't move. You're better off being laid off the ball.
Good ball. Illegal procedure. Offense.
If we had to pick a key play tonight, it would be the fumble of the second half kickoff, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that just, again, you know, BYU went off the field at halftime with pretty good momentum. They'd had a good second quarter. As we showed you the stats, they'd balanced out the game. And then, boom, they turn it over like that.
Rutgers with another win. Illinois, I think that score has to amaze everybody. Houston was a favorite going into Champaign in that game. Indiana holding off Kentucky.
Looks like they're coming after them again here. They are.
Sacca has plenty of time and fires for the first down to Al Golden, number 89.
Al Golden's been banged up. That's his first reception this year. He's had a knee problem. He's a senior from Colts Neck, New Jersey. Started 11 games last year. He's got to be excited. He's a pre-law student, but really hasn't been able to play much.
against a good friend like LaVell Edwards, Joe Paterno would just as soon run the final 8:45 out right now.
Great mutual respect between the two people. You know, they know they're both very honest in what they do. They respect each other for it, and they respect the caliber of coaching job and teaching job done by both.
Only the second meeting. The other was that wild and woolly Holiday Bowl. You know, you've got to wonder now, Ty Detmer at the end of last season, even though he was losing the inside of his offensive line, his best receivers, his backs. I wonder if he'd like to have it back, the decision not to go to the NFL.
Well, you know, he's a very committed guy, as you went through in the open, everything that he's done. You know, joined the church, married, he's in there, and he's got to be there to help recruit his brother. Who's a fine prospect in Texas. Actually, I think his dad's the high school coach.
Well, I guess the big question about Detmer in the NFL will be his height, just his basic size. McDuffie still on his feet and down at the 23-yard line. Two fine wide receivers on this Penn State team, McDuffie and Smith.
He is the kind of guy you have to figure in the game plan to have at least 8 attempts or so of getting the ball in his hand, whether it be in reverse, quick hitches, screens like they've already done. You've got to get the ball in that guy's hands because he is so elusive once he gets the ball in his hand.
Well, Penn State a loser to USC, but that does not eliminate them from the race for the national championship. Back when they won their first in '82, they were beaten early in the year by Alabama. And then they came back and dumped Georgia and Herschel Walker. Here it's Anderson, free, touchdown, Penn State.
See the block by the fullback here as he leads through and blocks Rocky Beagle, number 45. Offensive linemen come off the ball, do a good job. Now watch the block right there. Brian Mosier, number 33, does a good job allowing Anderson to get back up inside. Then poor tackling by Derwin Gray. That's the first poor play he's made all evening.
Fayek, no good. The snap appeared to be a little bit high at that time. And the extra point is no good. So we'll return with more action between BYU and Penn State after Penn State will be knocking on the door of the top 10 after the victory this week. And for Brigham Young, back to the drawing board. They'll get ready for the Air Force Academy. The bulk of their schedule here in the next few weeks will be played out in Provo. That's a wonderful setting. Kickoff is a short one, fielded at the 20-yard line by Mortensen, who slips at the 24. And the reason why there will not be much juggling is the fact that the first 3 teams all were idle. The big one at noon next Saturday, Florida State and Michigan. Miami also off today. Now, Florida was beaten already in the top 10. Tennessee, Oklahoma, Clemson advance. And this is the key one. Washington leading Nebraska 22-21 now in the 4th quarter. So that should be a great quarter, and probably has been a whale of a game so far. Detmer again on the run, firing downfield, incomplete. Drage diving for the ball. Since the Heisman, 9 touchdowns and 9 interceptions.
And that's a long ways away.
This has been a lot different than the last time he played Penn State. Since he won the Heisman, they will be 0-5 after tonight. The last time against Penn State, he threw for 576 yards. Almost intercepted by Lee Rubin, who picked off a pair against the Trojans last week.
He's getting his opportunity to play a lot because Matt Baggett is injured, who is normally their starting free safety. Smart young man. Member of the National Honor Society in high school and plays smart football as well. They're getting lined up late.
Charlton in motion. Incomplete. This is the first time since the mid-70s that BYU will have opened up 0-3.
You know, he's being forced to move around so much. When he finally gets to set up, Brent, he's not getting back in good passing position feet-wise, and he's losing a little zip on the ball. He's not getting his body back in that good throwing position.
6.5 minutes. Penn State blocked a punt, recovered a punt fumble, recovered a kickoff fumble. Smith fielding that one on the 44. Cuts back and is tackled at the 40-yard line. And Penn State will see what they can do about killing the clock right now with 6:26. That was Brad Clark who got back on the tackle. Well, the pennant race is winding down. Still 2 left, undecided. Toronto having all kinds of trouble out on the West Coast. And the Red Sox pulled to within a half game of first place. And Atlanta in the 4th inning leading the Dodgers 1-0 after beating them last night. And Kerry Collins checks in as the Penn State quarterback. Shelly Hammonds is now the tailback. So here's the first snap to Collins. And they'll use Hammond, who's got quickness, getting to the outside, down at midfield. Let's check in with Roger Clyburn on the Nebraska-Washington ride.
Thank you very much, Brent. At Lincoln, Nebraska, the Huskies are coming back. Billy Joe Hobart looking down the middle, finds Orlando McKay, the 8-yard touchdown reception. They missed the 2-point conversion. They led 22-21, but moments later, Keithan McCant fumbles, and Washington gets it back, and they are driving once again in Lincoln, 22-21. Let's go back to Brent.
All right, Roger, thank you. This one long ago was decided. Penn State 33, Brigham Young 7. BYU has not scored in the second half. And the fullback is Moser, gets the carry. There have not been too many times when Ty Detmer has been held to 7 points in a football game throughout his entire career at BYU. Penalty flag is down. BYU guilty of defensive holding. Collins, the young man, was drafted by the Detroit Tigers and elected not to sign a baseball contract, wanting to play quarterback here at Penn State. So let's see, consecutive weeks we have taken a look at quarterbacks who got away from Bo Schembechler.
Right. You know, the other thing he elected to do was to stay in town, in State College all summer and work. And work in town and then come and work out with the players that were left in town, the receivers. And he came back to training camp an improved quarterback prospect. Therefore, he's getting his opportunity tonight.
So here is Collins. Hammond down at the 31-yard line.
And Hammonds is a guy that really doesn't want to be a running back. He'd rather be a defensive back, believe that or not. Most of the time, it's the other way around. But here he is running the football. And Joe has said he feels he might be the most talented of the group as they all three mature.
This will be the lowest point total of Ty Detmer's career if this stands up. And taking a look at the scores over the last 3 years by BYU, they have not been held to 7 points. Back in 1988, when he really was not at the controls for the entire season, they were held to 17 by Miami and 14 by Wyoming. And then when he bloomed, Hawaii, and that has been a thorn in BYU's side for a couple years. They held him to 14 points in '89. And then last year, Texas A&M, when they drilled him 65, still gave him 14 points. Although he was knocked out of that game with the shoulder injuries. So this will be the lowest point total ever recorded by Ty Detmer.
You know, and his supporting cast is inexperienced, and the offense is so sophisticated. There's a lot of reading that goes on after the ball snap by the receivers, reading and adjusting to the defense, and you make 1 or 2 mistakes in each pattern pretty quick. You just don't execute it as well, and it makes the quarterback look bad.
Well, they've got 4 minutes left. I suppose he can pull out a second touchdown here for the Cougars, but right now, with the crowd streaming out, Collins and the Nittany Lions are trying to bring down the clock.
Got a lot of young people in there.
Hammonds down at the 13-yard line. We talked about Penn State in the national championship, and with the schedule and the way it is, you don't expect anybody to really go unbeaten in college football anymore.
Right now, I can only think of 2 teams that you know, Florida State, you got to think has a good chance. I really like the chances of the University of Washington. You know, if they get through this one tonight.
There is the banner, one of them. There are 2 here after 82 and 86. Well, having said that, Florida State must play Michigan at Ann Arbor. They still have games with Miami and Florida, and Dick, I think they can lose any one of those 2.
Oh yeah, they can, and they very well might lose 1 or 2 of them. But right now, as you look at the teams that we've seen play and watched play on television, and I really believe it's better that the coaches and the papers and the media around those schools don't talk national championship, because that is a distraction in their concentration.
Well, it's okay for the players and coaches, but for the media and the fans, it's a great conversation.
Yeah, it is. But I tell you, I think it hurt Penn State last week. I mean, they're starting to strut a little bit too early.
Well, I think the thing that hurt them is the fact that they managed to get some pretty good football players. Now, I know USC didn't play well today. Let's check in again with Roger Twibel on Washington and Nebraska. Roger?
Thank you very much, Brent. We showed you a few moments ago Washington recovering the fumble. In the ensuing drive, Billy Joe Hobart, the option play, he takes it in. And Nebraska, which hasn't beaten a top 10 team since 1988, looks like they're not going to do it tonight. Let's go back to Brent.
Well, Washington, Dick, a year ago, we thought they were the best team in the country, and then they lost the big one to UCLA. So there again, it's just so tough. Here's Hammonds. And the crowd singing a little lullaby to BYU, the team which will pack up and head on back to Provo, Utah tonight. It's been a tough trip for the young men. Kind of interesting yesterday that when they arrived, the first thing that LaVell Edwards did was bus the team through Gettysburg. And he said they'll remember that trip down to Gettysburg a lot longer than they will one football game.
Maybe they stood on the wrong side of the battlefield, on the losing side.
You know, that Nebraska game, there were still 7 minutes left in there for the Cornhuskers to stage a little bit of a rally in that one, so that was not quite over. Matt Nardolillo now in at quarterback, number 22 for the last 124 here.
The young man carrying the ball right now, J.T. Morris, a young football player, a freshman, eligibility-wise, is a guy that they're talking about is going to be a good one.
You live in right outside Philadelphia.
Yeah.
You pay taxes in this state.
Oh, gosh, do I ever.
Well, you know, the fans are headed on out for Route 80, and I'd just like to ask you, when's that construction going to end out there, big fella?
I don't know. That is, I know. I apologize. I apologize.
Here's a toss. Hammonds trying to get him 6, but he's short at the 5-yard line. A minute to go.
You know, it's great that the young kids here for Penn State get to go in and play. But, you know, BYU's been playing a lot of young kids the entire 4 quarters of the ball game, and it gradually showed.
Penn State.
This has not been a good couple of weeks for the WAC conference. Colorado State, our buddy Earl Bruce, hammered by Nebraska last week. BYU now falling to 0-3. They will have been beaten by Florida State, UCLA, and now Penn State. Hammond stretching it out and short of the end zone. And the final seconds will tick away. Ty Detmer for the game was 8 of 26 for 158 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. In the first half, he was 5 of 10 for 111 yards. And in the second half, the Nittany Lions held him to 3 of 16 for 47 yards. What a great defensive job here tonight by Joe Paterno and Penn State. 33-7. Penn State over Brigham Young, and the two close friends meet at midfield. Back with a final word in just a moment. The Chevrolet most valuable players of this game for BYU, Derwin Gray, 21 tackles. And for Penn State, the courageous one, quarterback Tony Sacca, 12 of 24, 187 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Not bad for a young man who wasn't supposed to play. And Chevrolet will donate $1,000 to each school's general scholarship fund to reward outstanding students for their academic achievements and to assist those in financial need. So for Cheryl Miller and Dick Vermeil, I'm Brent Musburger. We hope you've enjoyed tonight's victory by Penn State. The Nittany Lions back on the winning track. So long, everybody.